I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hey everyone, this episode is going to be about sales calls, and specifically sales calls that don't close in sales. Now, as a coach who sells your own coaching programs, the number one thing that if I could gift any new coach this lesson, I would, it's that someone saying no to joining your coaching program right now means absolutely nothing about your value as a coach, your program's validity or value or capability of changing their life or other people's lives. And it says everything about that person. Literally nothing about you. You could have said every word the exact same to someone else, hell, even to that person on a different day, and it could have worked. Hearing a no on a sales call does not mean something's wrong with you. It is just part of being in business. If you are out there marketing and selling your coaching programs, you will hear no. And the best thing you can do as a new coach is get used to it. Now, it's hard. I know. Emotionally, it's very hard. But it's rather simple, right? Allow people to say no and develop comfort with their boundaries. In fact, ideally, you would celebrate their capability of saying no to you, because that means they know themselves, they know what they want, and they know that this isn't right for them right now. And that's great, right? We empower people as coaches, and we don't want people making decisions that aren't right for them. So someone saying a no is actually really freaking awesome because it means that they aren't putting themselves in a position that is uncomfortable for both of you, right? Them being your coaching client and feeling like crap about it because financially or emotionally they weren't ready. Making you wonder, like, well, why aren't they engaging as much? And it's because they're terrified about the financial investment, or they had to pick up extra hours at work to pay for it or whatever. And ultimately, we want to support people choosing what's best for them. And it means nothing about you or your program that this person right now isn't ready. In fact, that same person could become ready next week. Something could change in their situation. They may have more time free up or more funds, or they may hear from the one person they needed to hear from that they really do have what it takes and they're ready. Who knows what they need to have shift for them, but you don't have to take on their no as your responsibility and you don't have to go change anything about yourself or your approach. You could have been saying all the right things on social media. You could have said all the right things on the call even, and it still just could not be the right time for them. And there's nothing wrong with you or your approach or your program or your validity as a coach or your value or any of those good things. But when you have sales calls that don't close, there are some things I'd like you to do. Now, as a business coach, I'm teaching people how to have sales conversations all the time. I talk to my clients about this all the time. And recently I was speaking with a client who had a call that didn't close, and she was really bummed about it. And as she tearfully gave me the update about how the call went, I could feel myself in her voice from 4 to 5 years ago. It took me a long time. It took me hundreds of sales calls to get to the point where someone saying no didn't feel like a personal problem of mine. Now, I close about 60% of the sales calls I get on, which is phenomenal. And if anyone tells you they close 100% of their sales calls, I don't believe them, and neither should you. And I'd be very curious about why they're lying about that, because unless they have such a strong screening process that they only talk to people after they've submitted some form of like deposit or something, I really don't see how that's possible, because humans are complex and have multiple variables. And so there's just no way someone's closing 100% of the time. So given that we know as coaches that need to connect with our clients, and sales calls are a great way to do that. As long as we want to be in business, we're going to be being told no. We're going to how the heck do I word this? We are going to get told no when we pitch our offer sometimes, and that's okay. So when that happens for you, because we're going to assume it's going to happen, we're going to start normalizing no's, and we're going to start improving our comfort with hearing people's no's. So let's assume, right, at some point you're going to have a coaching sales call and it will not close. It will not result in a sale. What do? Well, I've got some tips for you. So I think that sales calls, whether they close or not, are excellent opportunities for you to learn. And in the Sustain Your Passion business strategy that I teach my clients in my signature program, Passion to Paychecks, you are always in one of 4 quadrants of a circle that's basically on loop all the time, as long as your business is up and running. So you start in branding, then you move to developing, then marketing, then selling, and then you go straight back from selling back into branding. And here's why. So you just finished up a sales call, right? You pitched your offer. You were talking with them about the program. They tell you no. The next step is branding again. So what I want you to think about is, what did you learn about who your ideal client actually is after that sales call? There was some reason that that person wasn't ready to buy today, right? I want you to identify exactly what it was that was keeping them from moving forward and figure out what would be true, if not that, in your ideal client. So for example, if the person that you were talking to on the sales call said, "Oh, I can't buy right now because funds are pretty tight for me and my family right now." What we learned about your ideal client is that they have more discretionary funds than the person you just spoke to, right? Because if that's the reason they couldn't buy your program, they're not your ideal client, because your ideal client has the funds and wants to use it on their development via a program like yours, right? Because your ideal client is the person who buys. And so if someone didn't buy on your coaching call, your sales call with them, you can learn what actually is true about your ideal client that you maybe didn't realize before. Maybe this person is in grad school and you were like, "Oh, that's neat. Like, yay, they're already a student. Maybe that means they'll add this on and it'll be a perfect fit for them." And then they get on the call and they're like, "Actually, being a grad student is the reason I can't buy because I'm too busy and overwhelmed." Maybe you don't specifically target people in grad school anymore because that takes up too much time and space in their life for your coaching. And of course, you're not going to push away anyone that's in grad school in the future, but you might learn that, hey, my ideal client probably has more flexible time than typically grad students would. Because, for example, this person told me that that's the reason they can't book with me right now. Therefore, I'm going to be more specific about the lifestyle and the free time that my ideal client has by putting that more obviously out there in my social media posts moving forward. Or let's say it's that the person's like, "Yeah, I want to reach that goal, but like, it's something I'm okay with waiting on. I want to work on it over the next like couple of years. It's not a big priority for me right now though." That's an excellent lesson, because your ideal client is not someone that's kind of laissez-faire about the goal that you help your clients reach. They're not like, "Yeah, I could lose 50 pounds or not." They're not like, "Yeah, I could start a coaching business or not." They're not out there just perusing the option. They are committed already, right? They are one way or another going to reach the goal, and whether you are a support or not, they will be reaching their goal in the next few months, right? Because your coaching program would work if that person had a shorter timeline, felt more urgency about their situation. Now, you don't have to manufacture urgency, which is a sales approach that some sales trainers will teach you about. If it's not real, don't add fake urgency. But if someone is telling you, I don't know if this is that big of a deal for me, you can ask them, well, if it came true, how might it change your life? And if it didn't come true, how might that change your life? And if reaching the goal is important enough to them right now and they want to change it sooner than later, then they'd be a great fit for your program. But if they told you the reason they don't want to join is because they'll work on it in the next couple of years, they're not that serious about it, that's excellent information, because then you can start embedding in your marketing, so in your social media posts, your emails, your website, wherever you have any information about you and your work, even the way you talk about it, right, can shift towards people that want to, let's say, grow their coaching business this year. People that want their first full group coaching program by the end of 2023. People that want to lose 50 pounds before next summer, whatever. I'm cringing at myself for using the weight loss example, just so you all know. I don't love that example, but my brain always goes there as like the first stop for examples because it's so prevalent, like diet culture is so prevalent, So I'm working on that, but that's why like it comes to mind and I hate it. But anyway, you can clarify exactly who your ideal client is even further by being on sales calls, whether they close or not. Another lesson that you can gain from really looking back at your sales call and thinking about what all did we talk about is that you can generate content ideas about your specific person's situation, goals, and objectives. So whoever you just talked to on that sales call that didn't close, what are they going through that inspired them to get on the call with you? What questions do they have? What needs do they have? How did they find you? What did they tell you they're working on? Why did they tell you they're not buying right now? Literally every single piece of information they give you on that call is information that you can turn into social media posts or email that you send out to your email list or a new blog that you put on your website. Don't discount someone just because they said no. If up until the point that you heard no, you were like, oh my gosh, I hope they buy from me. I really want to work with this person. Just because they didn't end up closing doesn't mean that you still can't learn from them. And in fact, they probably have all the answers you need to help you improve your sales approach for the next person. So if you want to evaluate why this call didn't close, look back and ask yourself, what were they going through? What questions did they have? What else did they need to believe about themselves or the problem they're going through, or any other detail about what you cover that you could actually go and share more about in your content? And lastly, you can gain from your sales calls the confidence that you do know what you do, that you are good at it, and that you're a good coach and you know why you coach. Just because someone said no on a sales call doesn't mean that you aren't a good coach. I have never, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever had someone get on a call with me and left the call not having gained something from the interaction. So in that experience, I was serving them. Even though they didn't buy, even my call with them to talk to them about their strategy and if I could help them reach their goal, holding space for them to talk all of that out is generous and is giving to them my time. And if I offered advice, if I answered their questions, if I coached them through to clarify their goals and their strategy and improvements they want to make to reach their goal as their coach for that time on that call, and if at the end they're leaving grateful for the time that they got to spend on the call with me, I can feel more affirmed that I know what I'm doing. I just helped that person. I'm a good coach. I know how to help people. So that then I can actually leave that call not down in the dumps that like, oh, this person didn't buy right now, but rather affirmed that, hey, I just helped someone. And if you are someone that doubts yourself afterwards, if you're ever like, did that really matter to that person? Did I really help them? Please start asking them at the end of your calls. My favorite question to end my sales calls with is, was today's call helpful? Why not? Ask them. If you're going to spend all night, all week questioning, was that helpful for them or not? Am I really a good coach? Or, let's be real, nitpicking yourself and being like, oh, I didn't do that good. I didn't do that well enough. I should improve this. I'm bad at this. If you're going to be like making or breaking your value of if you're a good coach or not off of what your sales calls express at the end, whether it's that they buy from you or not, or whether they gain something or not, just fucking ask them. Like, put this question to rest and ask them. I can all but guarantee that they will say, without a doubt, oh my gosh, this call was so helpful. Like, why aren't you asking that question? You know, if you are someone that at the end of your sales calls is wondering, did I do enough? Did I really help that person? Just ask. Ask them, what did you gain from this call? And then that way you can actually leave your interactions feeling like you are more affirmed as a coach, feeling more confident in your skills and your capabilities to help others. And know that even if the person that you have the sales call with isn't ready to sign on to your coaching program right now, that you still helped them. And that maybe in the future, they will come back and still want to buy from you, or they'll refer someone to you, or heck, they'll be your number one fan sharing every one of your posts all over their social media feeds because they got so much value out of the call with you. And maybe somebody else they know will buy from you later. Never underestimate any sales call, even if it ends in a no, because you can learn so much from it about your ideal client, yourself, your approach, your content, your business, your marketing. Like, it is so hugely valuable if you look at your sales calls as something to learn from, whether they close or not, so that you actually leave your sales calls feeling good about yourself and your business. Because no joke, I've watched this happen over and over and over again. I've seen new coaches, and I can witness this, and I notice it because I used to play this game too. I can see new coaches get on sales calls, not close the sale, and then be more likely to hide because of it. So you know what that coach is doing? Instead of all the things I've spoken to you about on this podcast, right? All the lessons learned, going out and sharing more about it, feeling good about herself. No. What she's doing is she's actually just beating herself up. So she's not posting on social media. She's probably doubting her worth as a coach in general, questioning if starting her own business is something she can even do, wondering why it didn't close, thinking maybe her pricing is too high, wondering if she should go get another certification, thinking about if anybody's ever going to need her program or not, if it's worth it, if she's good enough, and then she's going to work herself into a fit and feel like shit, probably eat like shit because she's self-sabotaging, probably feeling bad about herself, so she's not going to move her body, she's going to sleep crappy because she's anxious. She's going to make this one sales call fuck up her whole week, if not her whole month, if not a few months, because she's not viewing it as something to learn from, and she's only viewing it as a thing that's either going to get me a client or not. And I know you're probably cringing. If this has happened to you, you're probably cringing because I bet you're like me. And I used to do this, and once I realized how sabotaging that was to my greater good of actually serving people with my coaching through my coaching business, oh my God, it was like the hardest cringe I've ever felt. Because looking back, it was like, damn, I got off so many sales calls and did not write what I learned, what content ideas I had, what I wish I could have said to them, what I wish they knew or saw about themselves. Like, none of the good, rich reflections that I only could grab right after the call. Oh my gosh, or when I used to record my sales calls, I never went back and played them because if they didn't close, I always just felt so bad about it. And if they did close, I was like off in la la land, happy as can be about it, rather than viewing it as one of the tasks along with my business that I need to look at and evaluate and learn from. But rather, I just would, let it go, maybe feel like crap about it. And instead, what I now do is if I have a sales call coming up, I don't view it as, oh my gosh, I might make a sale tomorrow. Because I could make a sale today or the day after the call too. The sales call itself is not the only time that person or anyone can buy from me. So that is just one opportunity to get to know someone more. So now I look at it as this is a learning opportunity. This is a market research call. I'm going to learn so much about this person. My content's going to get so much better. I'm going to practice my coaching skills. I'm going to learn what they needed and how they found me. I'm going to find out why this person does or doesn't feel ready for my program right now and improve my business because of this call. So fuck yeah, get me on a sales call. I can't wait. Whether it closes or not doesn't even fucking matter because I'm gonna win so much from engaging with this call. I'm gonna gain so much. Whether it closes or not becomes irrelevant. And you know what happens when you show up that way? Your fucking sales calls close because you're not being a weirdo the whole time freaking out about if they're like what they're thinking and if you said the right thing and if they're gonna buy or not. There's just so much less pressure because you're just looking at it as an opportunity to get to know someone who's interested in you and your work and maybe invite them to work with you if you like them, if they like you, if you think you can help them, and if they're interested. Like, there's just so much less pressure. And you actually end up feeling way better about yourself, which means, back to how I got started on this point, which means you're not going to feel like shit afterwards and then go hide from your social media posts, which is the antithesis of what you need to be doing. If you're trying to make coaching sales, you need to be showing up online and showing up in your marketing, sending emails, putting out blogs, putting out content, sharing your podcast, whatever you do to get your word out about your coaching program and you as a coach. You need to do more of that. And your coaching sales calls can be what helps you do that, or it can be what hinders you, depending on how you view that 1 hour in time, or however long your calls are, 30 minutes, whatever. That is going to be so much more important than whether they buy or not. Make sales calls matter more than just if the client buys or not. View it as a learning opportunity. Be a researcher of your own marketing process. Be a researcher of your clients in every interaction you have with them. And just because that person didn't buy at the end of the call that you had with them doesn't mean they're not going to end up buying from you in a week or 2 or 3 or 2 months or 3 years. I have literally had people be on my email list for years and then buy from me. I've had people unsubscribe and then resubscribe and then buy from me. Like, it's not my problem why they do that, right? It's not my business when they buy. And if it's not right for them, like, I'm not going to push them to try and rush them into working with me. That comes from a scarcity mindset. And that typically comes from you not fully deciding that you're going to be in business in 6 months. Because if you did have that affirmed, then it wouldn't scare you so much when that person walks away. Because them not buying right now, your urgency around them buying right now is only coming from a scarcity place of, well, I might not be in business in 6 months, so you better hurry up. If you don't buy, my business will either shut down or keep going. It's up to you, random person, to decide if my business is worth continuing or not. Because I may not be in business if you don't buy. That's so much fucking pressure. Like, stop it. Stop it. Stop viewing your sales calls like this one and done, make or break, sale or not type of experience. And any business coach, any sales coach that is teaching you shitty, pushy, bro marketing type, old school sales methods, get them out of your head. Get them out of your newsfeed. Get them out of your podcast roll. Like, get them out of your head. Stop. Just stop that. And instead, view your sales calls as a genuine opportunity for you to learn more about your audience, your ideal client, and yourself. And go into the call and leave the call with gratitude that you are learning. And I bet you're going to have a lot more fun on your next sales call. And you will have learned so much more. You will have listened so much more deeply to your lead that maybe you'll make more sales. But I guarantee you'll feel a lot better about it. And feeling good about your sales approach will inspire you to show up more and get on more sales calls and invite more people to them. Because you're less afraid of it fucking up your whole week. Because you know it's just a call. It's just a chance to learn more and connect with someone. It's not going to spiral you. It's not going to make you question yourself or your validity as a business owner. It's just a call. And I also want you to know that if you're not making calls on your sales call, it's not, there's nothing wrong with you. Do you maybe need a new sales approach? Yeah, maybe. Should you learn the consensual sales method that I teach my clients in Passion to Paychecks? Probably. Can you improve? Sure. We all can. I'm still learning how to be better on my sales calls because every call is a chance to learn. So if you're noticing that you're not making as many sales in your business as you want to, I just want to offer you a couple of questions that can be your reflection questions. So if you are listening to this podcast episode, my guess is that you're not making as many sales as you'd like to. And here are some questions for you to consider. And none of them include anything about like what's wrong with you or why are you so terrible at this, okay? So listen up. The 4 questions I want you to think about are, did I create content for strangers today? So am I actively creating content for people that have never met me, never heard about me or my business ever before? Am I creating content for them specifically every day? Did I create content for my engagers today? Right? So strangers, they've never heard of you. Engagers, they know what you do. They're learning how you do it. Did you create content for them today? What about offering your freebie or your lead magnet to anyone today? If you're not making as many sales as you'd like, and if you're putting all the pressure on your sales calls, I'm curious, how many people today did you offer your freebie or lead magnet to? Maybe you could up that number. And number 4, did you invite anyone into a sales conversation today? Because if you're still reeling over your sales call last week, my guess is that you've not been comfortable inviting someone else to try that again because you're still viewing that call as a failure because they didn't close, rather than learning about if maybe there's something you could change in your marketing to get the right people onto the call so you feel more confident on your calls because you know you're bringing in the right person, because you're constantly improving your brand, because every time you sell, you revisit your branding because you learn every time. Like, selling can be a conversation that you learn from, and it can be that simple. Hell, you could even have fun doing it and enjoy it. It could be like talking to a bestie, and that's it. And like, if it closes, cool. If not, cool, because you're still coming out on top. You're still there to learn, and that is completely in your control. Whether they say yes or no is irrelevant to that outcome. Okay, y'all, this was some tough love. So if this spoke to you, if you had a bit of a, oof, I needed to hear that, or ouch, I wasn't ready for that, or if any of this was helpful, will you let me know? Just like I recommended earlier, ask your sales calls at the end of the call, was this helpful? I'm going to do that for you. If you found this episode helpful, will you let me know? That could be a quick text, a message on social media, an email, a review on this episode, whatever you'd like it to be. But I would love some feedback on it because I am using all of these same tips in everything I do in my business. So I want to learn as well. So if there's something that spoke to you about sales on this episode that you were like, dang, that was good. Or if you hated it, that's fine too. Let me know. I would just love to learn from you. And if you are struggling to make coaching sales and you know that it's time to get serious about developing your coaching business and improving your business skills, whether that is branding, developing your offer, marketing that offer, or confidently selling it, then Passion to Paychecks can help you. Go to my website, genesisrose.com/passion to paychecks, and learn how I can support you and help you grow your coaching business to where it is your family's full-time income. That's where I'm at, and I would love to support you to grow your business so you can make the kind of impact and income you know your coaching skills can create if you have a bit more support behind you and a bit more structure so that you can really give it your all, grow your business, and help more people with your coaching skills. All right, everyone, that's all I have for you today. I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.